ladies and gentlemen, you want to make an indie game? That's amazing. I respect the grind, I respect the hustle. Blood, sweat, tears, sleepless nights, coding, art, sound, man. Y'all stay putting in the work. But here's the harsh reality, ladies and gentlemen. If your goal is to make money, indie development is not designed for that. It is a passion project, it is a labor of love. Unless you're willing to play the game. Not your game, of course, their game, the human mind. And if you are willing to do that, if you are willing to get more sales by any means necessary, then buckle up because I'm going to teach you 5 hacks, one might say, 5 techniques. I do not personally endorse these, but they are very effective nonetheless. And I'm not going to be able to hold back. All right, guys. Number 1, this is the biggest one, selling an identity. Nobody buys games anymore. In modern gaming, people buy identity. People want to be part of a clique. Your job, ladies and gentlemen, is to make them feel like without your game, they are incomplete. Let me give you an example, right? A strategy game isn't a tactics game. It's for people who want to feel smart, who want to feel in control, who wants to flex their strategical prowess, right? This is an arena shooter. This is for hardcore players who want to distinguish themselves from the normie COD Battlefield dude bros. And this isn't just a farming sim. It's a cozy game where people feel wholesome, safe, and superior in chillness. Ladies and gentlemen, you're selling aspiration, not features. And here's the kicker, yeah? Once you frame it this way, they don't evaluate the mechanics of your game anymore. They're sold on who they are. If you remember nothing else in this entire rant, remember this. People buy identity, not gameplay, not graphics, not polish, identity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is tip 2. We need to talk about sympathy. You need to act broke. Humans love an underdog. The scrappy little indie dev against the AAA titans, David and Goliath. So, we gotta act broke. We gotta lean into the struggle, right? Because here's the thing. Whenever you say, oh, buy my game, well, now the consumer is the customer. They have expectations. They're going to evaluate your game compared to others, do consumer-based things. But if you lean into the struggle, if you talk about the long nights and the limited funds and the dream that's bigger than the bank account, suddenly the player isn't a customer. They're a supporter. They feel like that they're part of your journey. They feel like heroes for buying your game. And humans, ladies and gentlemen, love feeling heroic. Do you know what this does? This also lowers expectations. Bugs, well, it's got to be forgiven. Lack of polish, forgiven. Missing features, still forgiven. Why? Because you're not just selling a product. You're selling the culmination of your struggle, of your grit, of your heart. And if anybody calls you lazy, just say that you spent hours, sleepless nights coding. And to be fair, you can just do this. It's probably true. This isn't even unethical. Most of you guys don't have big budgets and stuff. You guys need to act broke more. All right? Now, number 3. This is a strategy I like to call content front loading. It is simple, but it is genius. Humans anchor. Humans are overwhelmingly based on the first impression. So we want to make our game like an exponential decay graph. We want the first impression of our game to be the best first impression possible. The first trailer has got to be perfect. Cinematic, it's hype. The Steam page, it's flawless. The descriptions, the screenshots, the GIFs. Buy it now, The first 2 hours of gameplay, polished, serene. The clever writing, everything. After that, who gives a crap? Most players will never get there. Most players probably won't refund. And most players will still have an enjoyment with the game because, hey, their brains are going to be anchored to the first 2 hours. Yes, yes, yes. Right? Remember the launch of No Man's Sky? People bought the game because they were sold on it. The trailers looked good, the stuff looked good. I know the game is good now, but when the game released, the first impressions of the game when they actually played it was terrible. This is content front loading. It's psychological and it's legal. Now, tip number 4. This is a really big one, promising without promising. Roadmaps are very popular in game development nowadays, because it generates hype really easily. It generates a sort of train, a bandwagon, where people want to be in there before the roadmap gets completed because they want to claim themselves as OGs. Hope sells, ladies and gentlemen. Humans will buy potential. Humans will buy dreams. Now here's the trick. We don't want to make a roadmap, but we want to get that roadmap hype. So we need to say vague, exciting, forward-thinking things like big things ahead. We're just getting started. The future is exciting. And this is critical, right? This is critical, okay? Because this is where you might get caught up for legal bullshit, all right? Never say when, what, or where. Why? We don't want to specify features. We don't want to give a date for said specified features, and we don't want to name content or platforms. Because the moment you do, well, that's a legal obligation now. You have promised something, and if you fail to deliver on it, well, you may just go to court. You know what I'm saying? Keep it vague, Keep it hype. Make players imagine the game of their dreams. They're going to subscribe to a fantasy they've built themselves. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pure gold. All right? And now, finally, tip number 5. This is the amplifier. Always be comparing. Humans are terrible at evaluating things in isolation. We judge relative to other things. And if you control the frame, you control perception. You can compare up. Oh, well, we're inspired by classic JRPGs. This is for fans of old school strategy. This is an homage to games you played like 8 to 10 years ago. Nostalgia. Now, or we can compare sideways. A new spin on a roguelike. A fresh take on the genre. This creates, mystique. We don't know what the game is. People are tentative, but people are interested. Or we can compare down. We respect your time. We don't shove our game full of microtransactions. Of course, without naming names. You're framing the game. You don't need quality or innovation. You just need perception. And then humans will fill in the blank themselves. This is psychological warfare, also known as show business. All right. So we're going to review what we did. All right. Number 1, sell an identity. Number 2, act broke. Number 3, front load your content. Number 4, promise without promising. And number 5, always be comparing. So if you do these 5 things right, people will buy your game. They will defend your game. They will hype your game, and you will hopefully cash in. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Spread the gospel. And I'll see you guys next time. And yeah, peace.